संकीर्तन की जय, श्रीला प्रभुपाद की जय। थैंक यू माता जी। प्रणाम्स टू ऑल। हरे कृष्ण।
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Okay. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Mukam Karoti Vachalam Pangum Langayate Girim Yatrupatamaham Vande Shri Gurum Dinatharanam Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadankitam Namam Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prestaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshitarini Vanchaka वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता राधाकान्ता नमोस्तुते तप्त काञ्चन गौराङ्गी राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौरभक्ता हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नारायणं नमस्कृत्यं नरं चैव नरोत्तमम् देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरयेत् नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवते उत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्टिकी शृण्वतं स्वकथा कृष्णं पुण्यश्रवणकीर्तनः हृदयन्तस्थो हि अभद्राणि विधुनोति सुहृत्सतम् श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। So I'll start sharing the screen. Sorry. I have not opened the Vedabasa. I'm sorry, I did open, but I don't know why it got disappeared.
Hare Krishna. Mataji, can I share, Mataji? If you want.
Yeah, if you are ready, Mataji, ready
Yes,
to share?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, share it. Mataji. Only thing is, you keep on scrolling, that is what you need to do.
Oh, okay. Okay, Mataji.
Okay, Mataji, yeah, share it. Are you sharing, Mataji? Yeah. Very beautiful chapter. Going to finish today. Shrimad Bhagavatam, Canto 3, Chapter 25, The Glories of Devotional Service, 41 verse. So anyone would like to recite or should I recite first? There's so many raising hands.
Yeah, Suma Mataji, you can call out the names.
Shall I, Mataji?
Yeah, please, Mataji.
नान्यत्र मद्गवत प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरात् आत्मनः सर्वभूतानां भयं तीव्रं निवर्तते। हरे कृष्ण।
Hare Krishna. I was not able to unmute, Mataji. I couldn't see that unmute and mute button, Mataji. That's why I'm saying. Hare Krishna.
No problem.
Translation by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada. Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna. The terrible fear of birth and death. The terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who resorts to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Soul of all souls. Hare Krishna. Purport also should we read, Mataji?
Yeah, read Mataji.
Okay, Mataji. Vasudha Mataji, you can read the purport. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat Pranam Mataji. One second. Purport Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. It is indicated here in that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of the Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim Vina na Mritim Taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The same concept is confirmed here with one may take to the system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by the mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he comes to the point of surrendering to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, no process can give him liberation. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerity by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Shrimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Mataji, can you please scroll up, Mataji? Shrimad Bhagavatam 10.2.32. Ye anye arasindaksha vimukta manina. Lord Brahma and other demigods prayed to the Lord when Krishna was in the womb of Devaki. My dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought that they have become liberated or one with God, or have become God. But in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, their intelligence is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. Bhagavad Gita therefore confirms that purified intelligence arises in the person of a very wise man. Bahunam janmanam ante jnanavan mam prapadyate. After many births, one who is actually advanced in intelligence surrenders unto the Supreme Lord. The Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of the lotus feet of the personality of Godhead, their intelligence is not sufficient, and therefore these persons fall down. The living entity must have some activity. If he does not engage in the activity of transcendental service, he must fall down to material activity. As soon as one falls down to material activity, there is no rescue from the cycle of birth and death. It is stated here by Lord Kapila, without my mercy, nan yatra mat bhagavatha. The Lord is stated here to be Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, indicating that he is full of all opulences and is therefore perfectly competent to deliver one from the cycle of birth and death. He is also called Pradhana because he is the Supreme. He is equal to everyone, but to one who surrenders to him, he is especially favorable. It is also confirmed in Bhagavad Gita that the Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy and no one is his friend. But to one who surrenders unto him, he is especially inclined. By the grace of the Lord, simply by surrendering unto him, one can get out of this cycle of birth and death. Otherwise, one may go on in many lives and may many times attempt other processes for liberation. Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you very much, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. So this is like, this section is completely into more deeper into philosophy. Earlier, we were going through the questions of Devahuti asking to Kapila Muni, right? So she asked about bhakti, excellence of bhakti, hearing the excellence of bhakti, and then she asked not only about bhakti, she asked about jnana and also about yoga, how to, yoga aimed at attaining liberation and all that. Lord for liberation, how many limbs does it has, all that she asked, and Lord Kapila answered to all her questions, and he also, answered about characteristics of a devotee who is having those bhava qualities attain, and then how the devotees who are someone who are doing Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, raganuga bhakti, like that, all these were answered to Devahuti. So the devotees who are not yet qualified at the bhava stage, they will perform, the spontaneous devotional service is not possible, so they do Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, which is non-spontaneous. So through the perfection or consistently performing the devotional service, they'll come to that platform of bhava. So like this is recommended by Lord Kapila to Devahuti, and then after describing about Vaidhi sadhana bhakti, you have to give up all the attachments of this world, and next, what you have to do is the devotee who has detached, jnana, vairagya, and then bhakti, all has to go. It will, in conclusion verse of this chapter, it is described in detail. So like exclusively one will worship the Lord in devotion, and that will only take them beyond birth and death, is what he was there in the previous verse. Now this verse fully Prabhupada is taking us through the fearful situation in the material world. And then he's, through the Lord Kapila, Devahuti, giving us the information is that how to overcome this material world. And that will be possible except by devotion to Lord Krishna or Rama or any other Purusha avatars like that. Yeah. So in explaining this, giving this to Devahuti, main important point here emphasized is all bhaya. Bhayam is less. Tivramaina bhayam is there. Means, this fearfulness or fears, bhayam, is there. It's very strong in this material world. We are all entangled in this material world by the spell of Maya. But we are not taking care of it. Just at the time of the death, we may go through a lot of fearful or troublesome situations. Someone, for example, someone is leaving their body in a very difficult situation, like you might have come across someone going in coma. They are not having any consciousness. So even if they are having a lot of money or wealth or name or fame, this kind of situation will not be, overcome by any means. That is fearful test Lord is giving. So you have to come out of that situation. That fearful situation is possible only when you completely take shelter of the Lord. So, but the situation is that it's actually fact that we will have this kind of troublesome situations even when we leave the body. How many scorpions biting? It is that much painful. I can't remember. That much is the number I forgot, but that much scorpions biting, that much pain one will go through. But what happens now? We will forget. And then we are not afraid of. That is what Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita, that always there's a trouble is there. Janma, Mrityu, Jara, Vyadi. Dukkha, Doshanudarshanam is there always. But what happens when you accept this birth within a mother's womb? We are, in the process of, that developing, and then we are in the womb. In that time, there's a lot of trouble is going through. The third canto beginning verses chapters we hear, right? How the germs and worms or urine stool, everything is biting. Its skin is very delicate, but still we can't make any adjustment. We have to simply move around if something is eating or eating all that. And if someone is pious, they'll remember the Lord at that time, and they will just ask the Lord to relieve from that condition. Please, I will worship you now. Full surrender is there. And then, this consciousness is there in the womb only, in the mother's womb only. The fetus has got from, 7 months, it is there. And then when you get out of the mother's womb, that's it. What do? We just get entangled with this material world, forget everything. We don't understand. And then everything will pass on. The disease, old age, death, birth, all this will go. And then we'll come back to again spell of Maya, illusion. We are thinking that we are doing everything. Now we are making progress, this, that. And then we forget about these four problems. We have to understand this material world is a miserable condition. We are all, troubled with what? Every time. Threefold miseries are always troubling us back and forth, right? So we don't have, we can't escape from these threefold miseries, right? Adhyatmika, Adidevika, Adibodhika is always been there. Someone, some way or the other, they are making us to remember we are here, but we are so foolish that we are not able to remember. Like Prabhupada says, Buddhas, right? We are waiting for so many troubles, so life after the life, birth after birth, like that, forgetting the situations what we are going through and doing. So Prabhupada is instructing us, like a foolish people who are forgetting this kind of situation. We are also doing this material world is completely dukhalayam ashashvatam. We are accepting the body, we are accepting the troubles, and it's non-stop going on, vicious circle. There should be some solution where you have to stop this acceptance of this material bodies again and again and again and again. And then that will happen to a person only who is intelligent enough. They cannot, you can't make any adjustment with this material world. Neither, economic development or, your education in this spiritual, in this material world, or any making a lot of money, nothing is going to make any adjustments to your life. So without what Prabhupada says in the first line of this verse is Nanyatra ma Bhagavataha Pradhana Purusheshwarat. He says, without coming under my shelter, there's no possibility. Clearly instructed. Lord Kapilamuni is telling to Devahuti, there's no possibility. Krishna, out of compassion, he is coming to this material world to protect all of us, devotees who are there to look after. And he is also coming with us in Paramatma feature, always there, every moment is there, walking with us. We thinking we are doing, but Paramatma within our heart is always guiding us to do each and everything in our life. But we don't recognize that aspect, unfortunately. That's the problem for us. That problem will be solved only when we understand that this material world is not permanent. So there's only temporary, and we have to use our intelligence and try to inquire what is the solution to the problems of life. That is Atato Brahma Jignasa. That is real business of this human form of life. So if you are not interested, we are considered as fools only. So then we will go through this process of life, birth to death, to old age, disease, all that is there. So even from the pages of Mahabharata, we hear from the questions Yudhishthira Maharaj is asked to Dharmaraj, right? What did he ask? What is a wonderful thing in this world? What is the most wonderful thing? What is that? Like that he asks, right? And he says, ahani ahani lokani gachanti yamalayam. Every minute, every second, they are going to Yamaraj, like all of us. You're dying and going. Right? Those who are living, they are thinking that, death will not come to us. We simply, everyone is around us may leave. We may go to the Smashanavat and we see, and okay, we come back, we forget that. Friend or relative of anyone simply dying. That's all. It's all going on. But we are thinking we are not dying. That's the problem. That is Ascharyam. We don't keep Ascharyam. That is what, we are not understanding that. So we should be prepared for that. Preparing for our death is important. Otherwise, we will not surrender to the Lord. Very philosophical verses, all these are has to be applied to realize what Prabhupada is telling in the purports. Otherwise, we forget that's what we are doing. That's why we are gone through 8.4 million species and come to this human form. We are fortunate that we come to, connected to the movement and Prabhupada books, which helps us, get out of this. Yeah, so we have to understand that Tata Dehantara Prapti is that you have to get out of this material body. Because Prabhupada mentioned, what kind of body you will get, you will decide now in this life based on your activities, you can decide your future, next destination. We don't want to become like hawks and dogs and cats like that, right? So that, they are at the shelter of people who are giving. If they beat, they get, beaten. If the stone is thrown at them, the dog can do anything. No shelter, no food like that. So, but if you become a tree body, then you're standing there thousands of years like that. So we may get a demigod body if you're pious, but we have to depend on Lord to actually go back to Him. This material world is very fearsome, fearful. So Prabhupada is telling, get out of this illusion. And then he says, you need to be intelligent and think that we are not happy here, we are suffering. That is intelligence. Every situation, any favorable situation in material world, we make us feel happy. Oh, that is what's happening. But that happiness will not stay longer. It will go, and the next day the same happiness will become a misery. Oh, we want something else like that. So it's important that we have to inquire. So we hear from the Goswamis also how Sanatana Goswami, he was a finance minister in Nawab Hussein's government. And he's in the disciplic succession. We know how he inquired from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then he said, what to do. This not to just not to have that ordinarily making money and living like that. So they understand I'm suffering, and then you have to know what to do next. I'm not happy in this material world. What should I do? That is the surrenderance. So only if you are intelligent enough, you will be able to take up this aspect using that intelligence, and you understand that faith is come to you and taking the Lord's name, faith, and then Shraddha. Then you have to look for sadhu sangha. That is what Lord Kapila also said right before. Association of the sadhus, very important in this material life. Otherwise, we will not understand the fact that we are not happy in this material world. So we need to take the association of the devotees, and we try to mitigate those problems and get out of this illusion, and try to understand what Prabhupada is telling. Take shelter. I mean, Kapila Muni is telling to Devahuti. You have to take shelter. We may have any other circumstances which are good, but still, take up the position where we are able to completely surrender to the Lord. That completely surrender is the verse which we always hear, na Sarva Dharmam Parityajya Mam Ekam Sharanam Vraja. That's the business of us, is to stop the cycle of birth and death, not more accepting any more bodies. And then that is what Kapila Dev is answering. You cannot get out of this situation without taking shelter of lotus feet of the Lord. You cannot get out of this fear. This fear is very tivram. We are accepting Maya, rejecting Lord. So that is not going to help us. So therefore, if you don't do that, then we are, mudas. We have to take. So Krishna is so kind that he is allowing all the devotees, and he is coming every millennium after millennium to help us. But we are not able to see this. He knows that the situation is not happy here in this material world. All my children are suffering. And he is there, he says, Sarva Yonishu Kaunteya. He's there in everyone, right? He's a father. He's understanding all our trouble. He's not happy seeing us unhappy. All the children are not happy. He understands. Therefore, he's coming. He's going everywhere. But still, we are rejecting him, unfortunately. And hearing to that verse in Shrimad Bhagavad Gita, that the important prime verse, 18th chapter, 66th verse, Dharma Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja, he told, I will give you relief. Come to me. You live happily, eternally, blissful here without any of these four problems. Krishna business is that, but our business is different. Unfortunately, we are not understanding the importance of what to take shelter, how to take shelter like that. Yeah, Krishna explained to Arjuna, and then Arjuna, what did he do in the 4th chapter? After he understood that, I came here to teach this philosophy. Many millions ago, I told to Sun God, everybody, Vivashwan, and everyone heard. Now it's the discipline that the succession is broken. So I've come here to give you that knowledge again. So here is an authority, Krishna telling like that. So we have to take it up and then take up this knowledge and go ahead and understand taking shelter of the Lord is very important in our devotional life. So we have to connect sambandha, at establishing that relationship with the Lord, and then we have to accept the process avideya, and then you have to attain the goal. What is our goal?
Going back to Godhead, Mataji. and doing the same.
That's right. But why do we go back to Godhead? What do we become?
To serve the Lord. So we are Jivara Krishna Swarupa Krishna Nityadas.
Yeah, Jivere Sarupayar Nityere Krishnadas and Gopi Bharatu Pada Kamalayor Dasadasanu Dasa. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu taught us. So you have to become a servant of the servant of the servant. And then, don't become direct servant. That's not possible like that. Yeah. So you become servant of a servant. Then you have to become a servant of a guru who is a representative of the Lord. Take a shelter of a guru. Important. Then, Guru will take us to Krishna. If Guru is pleased, Krishna will be pleased. Krishna is pleased, Guru is pleased. Yasya prasade Bhagavat prasada. We every day we recite, no? Guru Ashtakam. Your relationship is established through a pure devotee like that. Then, you will go back to Godhead. So we have to identify that. We are, get to the point that we are eternal servant of the Lord. We have fallen down and we are going in this Bhavasagaram, means birth, death, old age disease is going on. So this thing has to be stopped like that. So the instructions are very clear for us. So applying is important. So we stick to what Prabhupada gave us, the medicine, to get out of this very fearful condition. Chant the Mahamantra attentively every day, at least minimum 16 rounds. Eat only Krishna Prasad. Take the shelter of a guru, Shastra, Sadhu, Sangha. That's it. And one day we will achieve that. So that is what the verse is talking all about. Yeah. Shall we go to the next one?
Hare Krishna. Shobha Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Sindhu Mataji, you can read the translation. And Sudha Mataji, you can read the purport.
Thank you, Mataji.
Is he not audible?
Mataji, I can't hear you. Sorry.
Am I audible?
Yeah, a little bit better, Mataji, compared to before.
Shloka number 42. Mat bhaktya tvati vato ayam suryastapati mat bhayat varsatintro dayathi agnir mrityus charati mat bhayat. Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandot pranams. Thank you, Mataji. Should I read the translation?
No,
Yes,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Sindhu
Pranams
Mataji,
Mataji. Hare Krishna. Sloka 42. Translation by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, and the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sends forth showers out of fear of me. Fire burns out of fear of me, and death goes about taking its toll out of fear of me. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Sudha Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Dandat Pranam Mataji. Purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, says in Bhagavad Gita that the natural laws being enacted are correct in all activities because of His superintendence. No one should think that nature is working automatically without superintendence. The Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by the demigod Indra. Heat is distributed by the sun god. The soothing moonlight is distributed by Chandra, and the air is blowing under the arrangement of the demigod Vayu. But above all these demigods, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the chief living entity. Nityo Nityanam Chetanus Chetananam. The demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their faithfulness, their devotional service attitude, they have been promoted to such posts. These different demigods or directors, such as Chandra, Varuna, and Vayu, are called Adhikari Devatas. The demigods are departmental heads. The government of the Supreme Lord consists not only of one planet or two or three, there are millions of planets and millions of universes. The Supreme Personality of Godhead has a huge government and he requires assistance. The demigods are considered his bodily limbs. These are the descriptions of Vedic literature. Under these circumstances, the sun god, the moon god, the fire god, and the air god are working under the direction of the Supreme Lord. It is confirmed in the Bhagavad Gita, Maya Dekshena Prakriti Suyate Sa Characharam. The natural laws are being conducted under his superintendence. Because he is in the background, everything is being performed punctually and regularly. One who has taken shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead is completely protected from all other influences. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone else. Of course, he is not disobedient to anyone, but his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. The statements by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Kapila, that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, and the sun is giving heat are not sentimental. The impersonalists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as the Supreme Personality of Godhead and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is neither imagination nor an imposition of artificial power in the name of Godhead. In the Vedas, it is said, Disha Smart Vata Pavate, Disho Deti Suryaha. By fear of the Supreme Lord, the wind god and the sun god are active. Disha Smart Agnis Chandrascha Mrityur Dhavati Panchamaha. Agni, Indra, and Mrityu are also acting under his direction. These are the statements of the Vedas. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Thank you. So here again, Prabhupada in the purport is now more clear that how the agents of the Lord, they are also out of fear, how they are working under his direction. So the first line, what is the first line saying in this verse? Can you please go to the purport, Mataji? Yeah, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Different. I go on my thing. So Supreme Personality of Godhead is telling in Bhagavad Gita, it says the laws are being enacted, or they're all doing their activities because of his superintendence. Nothing is working automatically without Lord's intervention. We always hear the famous saying, right? Even the blade of the grass will not move without the will of the Lord. This we all know, right? So,
Yes,
this situation which Krishna is telling that Maya Dakshena Prakriti Suyasita Charachara. Under my superintendence, only this nature, Prakriti is moving, working. So nature is working wonderfully. It's just under because of my control. If you don't accept, if you deny this fact, then you are not able to understand. You cannot move anything like that. Yeah. So atheist may argue like that, but atheist, follower of someone who has faith in Krishna, whatever is said in Bhagavad Gita, you will see it. So here this all the demigods is mentioned how they are working out of that fear may not be like considered as a real fear, but fear is in general, if you understand that fear is more associated with being respectful to the Lord, like how due to respect or due to I may do some mistakes, I need to please the Lord, better to be like that fear, out of love to serve the Lord properly, perfectly, like that. If you have an experience of serving your Guru Maharaj, let's say your Guru Maharaj is coming to your home one day and honoring Prasadam, you will have some anxiety, right? That anxiety is not out of so much fear, it's out of love and affection to feed or to serve your Guru nicely. So it's like that. All the demigods are having little bit of this fear is there. That is coming because they want to do the job properly. So they're doing. And when you see also this material nature is very powerful. We hear from Brahma Samhita also. Shrishti Shriti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Rekha Chayeva Yasi Bhuvanadi Bhibardi Bhuvanadi Durga, right? Bhuvanani Durga. Like that, material nature is working under my direction, and this material nature is like a shadow only. Chayeva is shadow. Chaya is shadow. And the real thing is what? The moving hand is behind the shadow. This material, the Supreme Lord's interference is there. Even if you go on an aeroplane, the pilot is there in that aeroplane to take you around. You cannot. The machine will not go itself independently flying in the sky. No one will get onto the flight if you say that machine fly by itself. If let's say in future robot is doing, how many will be willing to get into that? We don't know. The pilot is there to pushing the button. Like we have full faith on the pilot. He's taking to the next destination like that. Everything in this material world, all these machineries which we operate, simple thing which we have at home, that grinder, at home we do mixie. Without you turning the button, nothing will happen. So how can you think about the Lord will, universe will move without nothing happens? There's no evidence. We think like that. But evidence is there in the Shastra. All is given. How the wind is blowing, how water is moving, how sun is giving light. This is Krishna is giving the direction to them. They are working only under his direction, representing the agents, and everything is moving accordingly. If they don't do the job properly, they know they get punished. But they are doing for please the master, not thinking about punishment, but pleasing the master is very important. So Krishna is present everywhere. We see from the famous example, pastime of in Krishna Lila, Govardhan Lila, right? How this, Giriraj is there, mountain Govardhan Hill is there, Nanda Maharaj is arranging to worship this what is that? Indra, worship Indra. And then they are trying to do this Indra Yajna, preparing all the things for that Yajna. And then Krishna stops Nanda Maharaj. So you don't need to worship Indra. He's only just a demigod. You will say, you will not say that, but he says, my dear father, there is no need of Indra Yajna. Better worship the Lord. Worship Govardhan Hill. He's a representative of the Lord. He's feeding all the cows with the grass there, nice grass, and giving the food to the cow, and cow is giving milk for all of us. That you should do Govardhan Yajna, not Indra Yajna. And Nanda Maharaj initially not interested, but later, out of affection to Krishna, he understood, and then he made all the arrangement to worship Govardhan Hill. And he changed the idea of worshipping Indra. Rather, he made all the ingredients ready for Govardhan Puja. And Indra Yajna stopped, and Indra got angry. He sent his Samvartaka cloud, and whole in Vrindavan got flooded, inundated. And Krishna showed, his power that time. That Indra cannot be competent with him. Just with his simple finger, little finger, he lifted the Govardhan Hill, and he protected all his devotees. Full Vrindavan under the shelter of Govardhan Hill. So then these are the things we see here from Shrimad Bhagavatam, right? Then Indra himself came to worship Krishna. So the cow came, Abhishek did, and then he apologized. So everyone is a servant of the Lord. You cannot perform not even one simple yajna in this material world. What to talk of Indra yajna or even Govardhan Puja, hard for us. We try to worship the Lord because it's given. We take full shelter of Lord Giriraj when we do that worship, not thinking we are doing. So we are not we cannot perform any kind of yajnas or demigod worship. All this is not going to work. It's an example also already given many times. When you have to pour water to the root of a tree. You don't require to, water to the branch, to flower, fruit, all that. Not possible. Automatically, all this will come and supply. How you feed your stomach, all other organs of your body. Stomach, you can't feed eyes, legs, hands separately, right? So, like that, the worshipping demigod, worshipping Krishna is a source of everything, the root of everything. That's enough. So, like that, So, and even in this material world, we have, we see not any ingredients will be sufficient to perform yajnas properly. We are fortunate, we are just only not seeing this, scarcity of food grains and all, but it will come. Then, it's not possible to offer food grains in the fire. There will be no grains, no ghee. What will you do? So, in this age of Kali Yuga, there is only Sankirtan Yajna possible. You can chant, sit anywhere, anytime, no time, place, circumstance. So this is not recommended all other yajnas, right? So Kritaya Dhyayato Vishnam, right? Ketaya Yajato Makam. Dvapare Parichayayam Kalotadari Kirtana. So in this Kali Yuga, Sankirtan Yajna is only recommended. What is that? Of all the yajnas, Yajna Sankirtana Prayar. That is Yajantihi Sumedasaha. That is like, we should use our intelligence to perform that. Sankirtan Yajna is what is important for all of us to do every day. We can easily do. Sit together with all other devotees, stand nicely, hear Krishna Katha. If you want to go to Harinam on the street and inspire others, you can do that also. For your own purification, you sit and do. You go outside and uplift others also. Like that. So we are not interested in all that and doing all other mundane activities. That's not good. To get out of this, material miseries of this world, birth, death, old age, disease, we have to depend on taking shelter of the Lord and follow how these demigods are also, following as agents of the Lord. worshipping the Lord like that. So yeah, so Krishna is a superintendent. We go to the next verse, Mataji. The main point is that all are following the Lord's instructions. Like that, we should also follow the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Lord himself came and instructed us to do Sankirtan. Like that.
Prashanti Mataji, you can read the shloka. Karpagvalli Mataji, you can read the translation. And Sharmila Mataji, you can read the purport.
Yeah. Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dhanyavad.
Pranam.
ज्ञानवैराग्ययुक्तेन भक्तियोगेन योगिनः क्षेमाय पादमूलं मे प्रविशन्ति अकुतो भयम्. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Dandatna Mataji. Dandatna. Translation by Prabhupada ki jai. Am I audible, Mataji?
Yeah. Good, Mataji.
Translation: the yogis, equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaged in devotional service for their eternal benefit, take shelter of my lotus feet, and since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead without fear. Thank you, Mataji. And
Hare Krishna. Purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. One who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is actually a mystic yogi. The words explicitly used here are Yuktena Bhakti Yogena. Those yogis or mystics who engage in devotional service are the first class yogis. The first class yogis, as described in Bhagavad Gita, are those who are constantly thinking of the Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna. These yogis are not without knowledge and renunciation. To become a Bhakti yogi means to automatically attain knowledge and renunciation. That is the consequent result of Bhakti Yoga. In the Bhagavatam, first canto, second chapter, it is also confirmed that one who engages in the devotional service of Vasudeva, Krishna, has complete transcendental knowledge and renunciation, and there is no explanation for these attainments. Ahaituki, without reason they come. Even if a person is completely illiterate, the transcendental knowledge of the scriptures is revealed unto him simply because of his engagement in devotional service. That is also stated in the Vedic literature. To anyone who has full faith in the Supreme Personality of Godhead and the spiritual master, all the import of the Vedic literatures is revealed. He does not have to seek separately. The yogis who engage in devotional service are full in knowledge and renunciation. If there is a lack of knowledge and renunciation, it is to be understood that one is not in full devotional service. The conclusion is that one cannot be sure of entrance into the spiritual realm in either the impersonal Brahmajyoti effulgence of the Lord or the Vaikuntha planets within that Brahman effulgence, unless he is surrendered unto the lotus feet of the Supreme Lord. The surrendered souls are called Akuto Bhaya. They are doubtless and fearless, and their entrance into the spiritual kingdom is guaranteed. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So here in this verse, what is Kapila Muni is instructing is taking shelter for perfection. Is mentioning yogis also take shelter of my lotus feet. And then when you are mixed, when you have bhakti mixed with jnana and vairagya, that's the highest perfection. That you will enter into the Supreme Lord's abode without any fear if you have that. So that is mainly, focusing on, we should have jnana, vairagya, bhakti both all together. So from the verses from first canto of Shrimad Bhagavatam, also second chapter, 7th verse, you see bhakti unto the Lord, Supreme Lord. If you have bhakti, that yoga means connecting with the Lord, linking yourself with the Lord. This bhakti yoga means with love and devotion you connect with the Lord. That will immediately enable us to acquire that causeless knowledge will come, and then detachment from the world will also come. Once you have the knowledge from the Shastra, automatically you should understand that whatever you have, that connection with this material world, it's only temporary. You have to keep away from such connections in a way that you are there, but you are not there. Like that, you just keep going with your duties, prescribed duties, just you have to fulfill that. But and the result is, offered to Krishna. Then, Krishna will give you the, knowledge, and then the detachment process. Through that, the bhakti will progress. At Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yogi Prayojitaha, right? That verse is there, na 1.2.7. Jnanam is there. Jnanams to Vairagyam, Jnanams chat Ahaitukim. That, that sweetness of the Lord's form, qualities, and all will be there. And then this Ahaituki indicates that, such knowledge is like divide. You don't have, interest to have desire to go liberation also. This is beyond liberation, that bhakti. So like that, and Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita 7th chapter also, right? Bahunam janmanam ante jnanamam prapadyante. Out of many, many millions and millions of people, only one will surrender to Krishna. Unless that one knows in knowledge, perfection will not come. So they have to, develop that relationship with absolute truth, and they have got knowledge of that, and they understand that Krishna is my eternal master, is an eternal father, like that. And then, Krishna is like a mountain of gold, and we are like a minute particle of that gold. Is a gold mine where maybe an ornament of little gold there. So this is the knowledge you should have. Jnana Vairagya Yuktena. It comes through the knowledge. You should not be too much attached to this materialistic possessions or things like that. That is Vairagya. You use it, Yukta Vairagya also we hear, right? You use all the things. To detach means not that giving up okay, I don't want this, I don't, not like that. You use everything in Krishna's service. That is Yukta Vairagya. That is important. Then you will not be attached too much. Okay, as long as you're using your house for Krishna service, that's good. You're using it for the pleasure of the Lord. And this is not attachment to that. You just make sure you're providing shelter to others who need also, or, invite people for Krishna Katha and use as much as possible like that. Krishna, everything is spiritualized like that. So that is importance. We need to understand that this we don't want this too much of material opulence like that. Whatever we have, Krishna is provided. We should be thankful. That is our knowledge. We don't be too much sentimental, but thankful, and try to establish a relationship with the Lord. And then we do our duty. That is jnana. So that establishing that relationship is important. So bhakti will progress when you have jnana and vairagya together. So that relationship is eternal like that when you do that. So we all have to, so Kapila Muni is mentioning this only, that, Vaishnava is always try to do that. What does he do? What is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did, instructed? What is, who is going to door in Mahaprabhu's moment?
Nityananda Prabhu Mataji.
Yeah, it goes to each and every house.
Haridas
and
Thakur.
Yeah, Haridas Thakur, Nityananda Prabhu, they keep going, and then they invite them to the Krishna Katha, just let us chant, come like that, they do. They don't bother about, Chandala, bother about rich man, poor man, and Brahmana, nothing, Shudra, nothing, cat, dog, everyone is part and parcel of the Lord. That's how they encourage. Even Jagai Madai also they encourage. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructed us, Yara dekhe tare kahe Krishna Upadesh. It's not difficult. We have to, fulfill Prabhupada's mission like that and take shelter of the Lord and continue. So, of all the yogis, someone who is always thinking of the Lord, that is only the, the greatest bhakti yogi. It's end of the 6th chapter. Krishna declares to Arjuna, right? So, like that. So, Jnana Vairagya Yuktena, that is Bhakti Yoga. Jnana has to be there, Vairagya, full renunciation of these material belongings. Also, mainly the sense gratification activities. We are all working day and night, but we should not be like Gruhamedi. We should be like Gruhastas, means trying to support all other ashrams in this material world, in this, especially, trying to please Krishna in that way. So then we will not be able to, suffer in this material world. The subtle body, gross body suffering should end to get into the platform, complete spiritual platform. And to understand our eternal constitutional position, at Brahma Bhuta Prasannatma stage, then you will enter to the spiritual world. That's important. Yeah. So we want to get out of that fearless situation to enter to the spiritual world. The full focus on the Lord, fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord's service, not interested in anything else. I have seen one devotee leaving the body like that. So consciousness was fully fixed on the Lord. He was like, he was detected just 2 months. Time was given. He was detected with liver cancer, but he was residing in Vrindavan. He wanted to live leave the body in Vrindavan, but this situation made him to move to a different city for the other checkups and all. But was diagnosed, he was going to treatment. He had full faith on the Lord. He was preaching to everybody who was coming to the hospital, nurse, doctor, all the relatives, friends, whoever, distributing book, reading Shrimad Bhagavatam continuously. He was feeling that I should not waste my time, finish reading at least nicely these 2 months. And consciousness fully fixed on the Lord. He was not worried that I am living, he was worried about you. All of us, he was telling, you are going to suffer more here, I am going happily. I was so shocked to see that consciousness. That has to be there. Yeah. We'll go to the last verse.
Padma Mataji, you can read the shloka, Mataji. Chandana Mataji, you can read the translation. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Etavane eva lokasmin pumsam nirshayodaya tivrena bhakti yogena manomai arpitam stiram. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, translation by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in the intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means for attainment of the final perfection of life. Thank you, Mataji.
Vasudha Mataji, you can read the purport, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, Dandavat.
Hare Krishna.
Purport Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Here the words mano mai arpitam, which mean the mind being fixed on me, are significant. One should fix his mind on the lotus feet of Krishna or his incarnation. To be fixed steadily in that freedom is the way of liberation. Ambarisha Maharaj is an example. He fixed his mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. He spoke only on the pastimes of the Lord. He smelled only the flowers and tulsi offered to the Lord. He walked only to the temple of the Lord. He engaged his hands in cleansing the temple. He engaged his tongue in tasting the foodstuff offered to the Lord. And he engaged his ears for hearing the great pastimes of the Lord. In that way, all his senses are engaged. First of all, the mind should be engaged at the lotus feet of the Lord very steadily and naturally. Because the mind is the master of the senses, when the mind is engaged, all the senses become engaged. This is Bhakti Yoga. Yoga means controlling the senses. The senses cannot be controlled in the proper sense of in the proper sense of the term. They are always agitated. This is true also with a child. How long can he be forced to sit down silently? It is not possible. Even Arjuna said, Chanchalam hi mana Krishna. The mind is always agitated. The best course is to fix mind on the lotus feet of the Lord. Mano mai arpitam stiram. If one seriously engages in Krishna consciousness, that is the highest perfectional stage. All Krishna conscious activities are on the highest perfectional level of human life. Hare Krishna Mataji, thank you very much.
Hare Krishna Mataji. So yeah, so some more nice points Prabhupada is telling. Tivrena Bhakti is very important. Tivrena means that Druda Nishchayam, that the greatest benefit one will achieve, fixing one's mind on the lotus feet. And that will happen, steadily with progression in our devotional life. We will go beyond surpass liberation. That Ambarish Maharaj example is, we all will hear more in ninth canto, right? How he fixed his on the lotus, hearing only the ears using for Krishna Katha, eyes to take darshan of the Lord, nose to smell the tulasi offered to the Lord, using his limbs to walk to the temple, circumambulating the temple, cleaning the temple, engaging tongue tasting only Krishna Prasad. Like that, completely fixed on the lotus feet of the Lord 24 hours. So then mind will become master of the senses, not slave of the senses. But that we have to train, become our mind as a friend to us in Bhakti Yoga process. Then you can be able to control the senses and engage those senses in the Krishna service. Otherwise, it is not possible. Like how you see the child is restless, Prabhupada says, no, he won't sit at one place, not even few minutes. Then again, you have to engage. Like that, mind is always agitated. You do something, mind will tell, stop this, do this thing. Like that, when we're trying to chant, mind will tell, oh, what you have to cook, you have to think about that. And then you will think, unfortunately, you will go there. You have to come back. Better you be engaged in what you are supposed to do rather than, listening to your mind. So Prabhupada is telling clearly that we all have to follow the examples of the, from the Shastra given to us. And then we have to completely fix up in Shravanam, Kirtanam. Prahlad Maharaj prayers there, na? Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu. This Bhakti Yoga means this, all the 9 process of devotional service. The 7th canto over here, 9 different process. You have to take any of that process seriously, do it. Hearing, that is good. That will take, that's the best thing you can do. Start with hearing. Like how you see from Srila Prabhupada also, just by hearing to his spiritual master, he got the mercy of his spiritual master and got initiated, got instructions, and he says he is the best person, he's the one who can hear to me. He was very happy with him, like that. So we can do that. And then we see Prahlad Maharaj also hearing from the womb of his mother only. Like that. So this loving devotion service can be easily done when we, hear Krishna Katha. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. These all will come one by one. So we have to establish the relationship. Shravanam, Kirtanam is important. We don't need to hear about all mundane matters going to not exist tomorrow, but we just have to hear about Krishna Katha, which is going to stay forever. So we may try to serve our family members, society, country, the companies, all that. That is not going to perfect us. You have to endeavor to serve Krishna without any deviation. Fixed up, simply become devotee of the Lord. Worship in whichever way you can. Prahlad Maharaj also gave so many examples how to serve the Lord. When his father was very angry, then, there's so much of misunderstanding between father, mother, son. Ultimately, Prahlad Maharaj won by, praying to the Lord and giving the, getting mercy for his father also. You don't want to protest against his father, whatever he has done also. So he did the best service to his father also. Even if he's been killed by, demon, but killed by a god, got liberated because of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj father was so sinful, but still is against God conscious, but still his prayers were there for him. He requested the Lord, please forgive him, like that. Though I am born in a demonic family, I got this mercy. So like that, he surrendered to the Lord, like that. So he asked Narsimhadev also, that boon I want is that my father has to also get liberated. So excuse him, give him liberation, like that. So that was the compassion he had. So we all have to also take the shelter of the Lord. But Tivrena Bhakti is mentioned here. But then that will only take us to the mercy of the Supreme Lord. Yeah. We hear from Parikshit Maharaj also. He was started from hearing, right? Hearing continuously for 7 days. Then the glories of hearing only take him to the Lord, like that. Yeah. So you will attain Lord by hearing. Pravishta Karna Randrina. Even when Sutta Goswami was sharing the, second time Srimad Bhagavatam narrating in the sage to the sages of Naimisharanya, he prayed to Shukadev Goswami that, that let you, my Guru, let you enter through their ears to their heart when I share this Krishna Katha. There's a beautiful verse in that second chapter. Second chapter, what was that verse? Beautiful verse is there when he was praying as before he started sharing. He was so compassionate. Yasvanubhav Akila Shruti Saramekam. That verse. He says, he just, paying obeisances to his spiritual master, and he's praying that, let you, enter the heart of these sages to their ears. Like that, hearing is very powerful. And you just focus on this hearing part, you will go to the destination, Bhakti Yoga, starting from hearing. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also recommended this. We also, when we recite, invocation prayers, we say Shrunvatan Sakata Krishnam Punyashravan Kirtana. That is also in second chapter of first canto. Hrudayantastohi abhadrani. Whatever, what is that, troublesome to the heart is gone just by hearing. So Krishna philosophy purifies everything. Sankirtan purifies everything. When we chant Mahamantra, hear that Mahamantra. And all the 9 process of devotional services is done in chanting, actually. We hear the Mahamantra when we chant. And then we try to remember the Lord's pastimes. It's in a progressive stage you will all attend, but initially fully attentively hear to the holy name. So this can be done. So lotus feet of the Lord is, seriously engaging in that process to attain Krishna Bhakti. So that is the highest perfection. That's what Kapila Muni is instructing, and he's finishing this chapter with this lot of philosophical points in the end, these 4 verses. The whole chapter is like that, but more application oriented. The chapter is like whatever we learned in this chapter, all of them has to be applied to realize our real relationship with the Lord. Otherwise, here, forget. That's what happened to us. That's what is going to happen also. In going forward, you take any form of life, this is going to happen. So that's it, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Any questions? Padma Mataji, do you have a question?
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah, please, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Mataji. Now, this word, ahituki, what you said, that is devotion beyond liberation. Does it mean we have to
is not interested in liberation also? Not
no,
desire.
that's devotion beyond liberation means the bhava stage. That means we have to come to bhava stage. Right? Am I right, Mataji?
I'm not sure about which stage, Mataji, but we have to go beyond bhava, definitely, to go to the Supreme Lord. Yeah.
Because in Mataji, in text 32, it's mentioned thus bhakti is a stage after liberation. Right?
Yeah. Bhakti yoga.
Bhakti is a stage after liberation.
After liberation, that's right. Yeah. This beyond liberation is bhakti.
Yeah. So one has to come to that stage, to bhava stage.
That's right. So after bhava, only prema stage. So beyond the bhava stage, one has to go.
So is that called ahituki, Mataji?
Yeah. Ahituki means I don't have any other exterior, ulterior motives.
Okay.
To worship the Lord or to serve the Lord. Ahituki apratiyata yayatma suprasiddhati. Right? So whatever we do uninterruptedly, unmotivatedly, we perform devotional service to the Lord. We're not asking anything in return for our devotional service to the Lord. So not even liberation also.
Yes.
Some in the prayers in Damodar Ashtakam.
Namokshe grahomyasti, they say, no? You don't want moksha.
That's right. Similar context. Yeah.
Okay, Mataji, thank you. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Mataji.
Suma Mataji?
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Mataji, the main essence of today's shloka, what I could understand is only that, Mataji, we have to surrender to the Lord And we being neophyte devotees, how do we know, Mataji? Because we don't know how our life is going to go, what time the death strikes, Mataji. So, in one of the purports, it is also given that the conclusion is that one cannot be sure of entrance into the spiritual realm. Even in the Brahma Jyoti, also one cannot go without surrendering to the Lord, Mataji.
Yeah.
So, how do we know, Mataji, like we are surrendering to the Lord? Each and every moment we should surrender. How do
We
we
have
know?
to make yeah, that is I mean, very important point to understand in our life. But how do we know? We are the best person to answer that, because what's going in your situation may not be safe for others. But see, Krishna is not trying to measure what you are doing, what others are doing, like that. He's only seeing how much you are trying to endeavor in the situation you are putting. So that itself will qualify you. Like even a squirrel did little bit of effort in putting, for that constructing a bridge to Lanka. So Hanuman was not happy with that, but Lord Rama appreciated squirrel effort. So you may not have been able to completely surrender 100% with so much of any other commitments you may have in your day-to-day life, but constantly you can think about the Lord. Yeah, chanting can happen, or remembering the Lord. Satatam, we have to always remember Krishna, never forget Krishna. That is there, right? So if you are always trying to attribute your activities, or trying to offer the activities to the Lord, then it's always you're remembering, right? So in your day-to-day activities, I always tell this to everybody. Even I try to do. If you are trying to go for supermarket, let's say, don't think it's waste of time you are doing it. Your family members, you have to cook and buy all that. So when you're going there, you think, okay, I am actually, going to buy vegetables for the Lord. I am going to cook for the Lord. So transform your thinking process. That way you will surrender to the Lord. Every time you have to just change your thinking style. That's it. That consciousness will transform. That's what. Yeah. When you're cooking also,
Thank you,
when you're serving your family members also, you're feeding, serving them Krishna Prasad. They are honoring, even if they're not devotees, if they're honoring Krishna Prasad, it's they're doing devotional service actually while eating Krishna Prasad. So our mindset should be like that. So
Yes,
Krishna is
Mataji.
Bhavagrahi Janardana. He's in your heart. He's noticing what you're doing. So it's between you and Krishna only, actually. The surrendering process is not gauged in any other way. You can't be judgmental about anybody else. Oh, they are doing this much service, so Krishna is more favorable to them. I'm not able to do anything or not going out of the house. You do what your minimum required, what Prabhupada said, 16 round chanting, pakka, follow 4 regulated principles, and then eat only Krishna Prasad. If you're able to do this, that's full surrender. Prabhupada promised it. I will take you from the back gate, back door. Right? So, yeah.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna about it. We should not have any of our plans, no, Mataji. We have to give our life to the will of the Lord, like however He takes. And we should not plan also, no, Mataji, for our
Give means you have to make sure that you don't do it like Nityachara. Don't pretend to give. You have to make sure that when you're doing it, okay, I shouldn't do this job. It's not required. I only have to sit and chant and read. And if your family and your circumstances need for you to work, you have to work. So you have to draw a line where you can easily, fit in Krishna in your life so that you are not getting deviated from your activities. Yeah. So when you're when you're working also, there are many ways to think about Krishna. Put a password about Krishna's name, screensaver about Krishna. If you meet someone, somehow give some book or some prasadam and think about Krishna like that. So it is possible. Many are doing like that. 99% of the devotees are working outside. No one is just going to forest and doing and surrendered completely, right? So we have to surrender means our consciousness should be end of the day, this life is given by the Lord, and we have to make sure that we will not misuse our and think about Krishna in every step. Or if something wrong, unfavorable happening, also we will be, thanking Krishna that this situation is come to me. So if you may desire, so let me out of this situation, or give me some, intelligence to get out of this situation, so I can chant better, or I can, do my activities devotional activities. Pray to the Lord like that every day, that whatever situation I have put in, any circumstances I am going through, make me please connect to, devotees, association of the devotees, and, try to perform my sadhana. This is very important. Constantly we have to pray.
Thank you so much, Mataji. Wonderfully.
Mataji, when we are cooking also, we can play some bhajans, some kirtan.
Kirtan, bhajan, lecture, whichever you can be able to, assimilate that. It will
And
help.
we can think we are cooking for Krishna, not for us.
Yeah, that way, our consciousness is more on hearing, so we may not be thinking about this ingredient more, that is more, this is becoming tasty, like that. Just giving up that result of cooking also, just cook for the pleasure of the Lord and hear, like that. Yeah.
Thank you, Mataji.
Mataji?
Yeah.
Okay, Meenakshi Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji, I just wanted you to repeat what you said as an answer to Padma Mataji's first question, Mataji, about bhakti being after liberation, Mataji. I didn't understand that very right.
Yeah, it's beyond liberation. Connecting to the Lord beyond liberation, you don't have any other intentions to worship the Lord. Yeah. Service begets service. That means, only want to serve the Lord uninterruptedly, unmotivatedly, without any.
So all the stages of bhakti come only after liberation, Mataji? Is that understanding right? That
it is beyond liberation. I mean, liberation is different to what you are thinking of all this. So you are not asking him to liberate. Even if Krishna is putting you to in different universe to serve him, you're happy to serve him. You're not liberated from birth, death, old age, dishes there, but you are under the shelter of the Lord trying to serve him.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah. So our main goal is to serve the Lord in whichever form he is allowing us to. Becoming a servant of the Lord means whichever way he will, ask us to do, we will do it. Like how demigods are doing. One demigod may not be the same demigod every time. He'll become an agent of the Lord in doing something else according to whatever Lord instruct him. Right?
Yes, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji, but it should be with detachment. We have to be detached first to all the material things.
That is what Kapila Dev said, na? Jnana, Vairagya
Totally.
has to be there. Knowledge has to be there. Detachment has to be there. Then only bhakti way you will progress. You will really, able to completely connect with the Lord. See, there's a subtle body, there's a gross body. So this gross body, subtle body has to go for you to attain that bhakti process. That there you will understand your constitutional position of the Lord. You're not attached to any of your gross and subtle body. So I will tell a simple example. I heard this nice, beautiful, simple thing you can remember. There's a nariyal coconut, right? Coconut has got an outer thing. What do you call that? The skin of it.
Husk.
Yeah, you have to take it out, right? And then there is a shell. There's a gross body and subtle body. That inside is what? You have the coconut. That bhakti. And inside is what? You have got water. Very, good coconut means nice drinking, very sweet water will be there. That is love of God. So you have to get there to get out of all these things, get there. Right? Yeah, Mataji?
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
I think I felt this may be the apt thing to always think about.
Yeah, Mataji, but when we think about the body, we have to be like, completely detached. But we have to look after the body also, otherwise we can't do anything.
Yeah, we can't be doing anything. Yeah, we can't be like what is that fanatics that we have to make sure health is important in then sadhana. Then job, family, then service. So things like that. First health is very important. We can't neglect it. Prabhupada never said, don't worry about your health, only do this. You have to make sure. Some people need more sleep. Okay, let them sleep. But make sure you are in a situation you are not deviating from your day-to-day sadhana. You are doing it in a way where it is trying to suit your needs, and at the same time you're trying to please your spiritual master, and then that way you attain Krishna Bhakti. Don't try to do over endeavor in anything, even in spiritual activities. Balance in a way where you are able to, both material and spiritual has to go on parallelly. So you can't just, if you little bit here and there, you will fall down. It's better you have to be maintaining everything to have your strong, foundation in spiritual life. Yeah. When time comes, Krishna will make an arrangement where you can completely dedicate or surrender to the Lord. Means full time you can do it. But whatever you are in this situation, you try to do accordingly, and Krishna will recognize, small endeavors also. Neha Vikramanashasti said, no, little endeavor also, he will not forget. We may forget, but he will not forget. He will accordingly give us a, better situation to continue wherever we stopped. Yeah.
Yes, Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna. So shall we end the class now? No more
Yes,
questions? Yeah.
It's a very tough topic, but yeah, lifetime will not be enough to understand all this.
True, Mataji. Hari bol.
Thank you,
Vancha
Mataji.
kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namo. Ananta koti vaishnavindi ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki
Bharat
jai.
ki jai.
Hari bol.
So Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank
Hare
you
Krishna,
Mataji.
Mataji.
Dandavat
Hare
pranam.
Krishna to everyone.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
End this
Mataji.
session, Mataji.
Hare Krishna Mataji. Thank you so much. Pranams.
Hare Krishna
Krishna
Mataji.
Pranam.
Thank you, Mataji. Hare
Thank you,
Krishna.
Mataji. Thank you for tolerating me. Hare Krishna.
I'll end the session, Mataji. Hari bol.
Mataji.